Let's see.
Yo, yo, yo.
All right, we're back at it, and we are
Mm.
ready, locked and loaded.
You notice the one negative about my phone being up there?
You can't use it.
So we gotta go live on your phone next time.
Okay.
Because I gotta make mine public, remember?
Well, yours wasn't connecting anyway. What's
You
what?
wrong for that, man.
What's up, you guys? Welcome. I'm super excited. I am Ashley Denmark.
I'm Antonio Denmark.
I'm excited to be here today. Tuesdays always give me life just because we get to talk to you guys, we get to train you guys. We are your trainers and we're grateful to be your trainers. All right. Um, let me know who's in the room. Let me know real quick who's in the room. If you're in the room, drop a comment. Tell us who's here. I see Tiffany. You coming out tonight, Tiffany?
Tiffany
How
Bynum.
you know that was Tiffany I was talking about?
Because I know I can read.
Oh, you can see.
Yes, my vision ain't bad like yours.
Ooh. Oh. Got some deals coming through. Got some deals coming
Got
through.
some opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, today's training is titled
Don't do me like that. The absolute best way to build your rental portfolio for cash flow. The absolute best ways to build your rental portfolio for cash flow. How many of y'all want to quit that 9 to 5? Let me see in the chat. What's up, fam? If you want to quit your 9 to 5, let me see it. Oh, I see it. Yep. You want to quit your 9 to 5?
I do.
I
do.
Your 9 to 5 is me,
do.
baby.
I do. That's why I wanna
You
quit.
don't want to quit.
Can I at least like get maybe
I'm waiting for this.
a vacation from my 9 to 5?
Oh no, no
Can I
sir,
get a vacation
No,
from my
sir.
9 to 5?
no sir.
Oh man.
I'm not your 9 to 5. I'm your 24/7.
24.
I'm your
7.
24/7. You might need a break from 24 when you say it like that.
24.
All right, I see y'all. Simply say avoiding 9 to 5 at all costs.
Facts. I got something for you, Tim, too. I got a couple things for you, actually. We're going to make sure you don't got to get to that 9 to 5, all right?
Avoiding the 9 to 5.
We're gonna make sure
funny.
we're gonna make sure we make some things happen so you don't gotta go to that 9 to 5.
Listen.
What up, Al?
Hey, Dana.
If you haven't seen that work yet, Al, man, you gotta go by the Iron House and see that work, man. It's actually good. Like it was super impressive.
Yeah, you didn't send me a picture.
You gotta go by and look at it. Nope.
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Let's go.
Yeah, we talking about building portfolios today, y'all.
Yeah,
So,
come on, get in the room. Get in the room. Get
I know
in the room.
a lot of people talking about they want to flip, but you gotta understand that holding property is a big part of your real estate journey. All right?
A big part of
Everything
generational
just
wealth.
can't be
Building
flipped.
wealth. Yeah.
Yes. So understand that we are naturally buy and hold investors.
Mm-hmm.
That's what our vision is. Did I say that right?
That's our strategy. That's our vision. It's our long-term vision.
Yes.
And we like to say it's our long-term vision until short-term comes knocking at the door.
Yes.
All right. So if short-term comes knocking at the door, that long-term vision gets pushed to the back burner just for a moment.
Yes.
But yeah, that's what we do.
But
go ahead.
The thing about real estate is, man, if you buy it and you hold it, it's gonna go up in value, y'all. If you buy it with financing, the principal balance is gonna go down. So like you're gonna create equity and wealth by holding properties. All right. So don't just get caught up and flip. Start thinking about, can I hold properties? If it's not all about the cash flow, you're like, yes, cash flow is good, but it's more about tax breaks It's more about the long term.
It's about the
value.
equity too.
It's about
that
the
you
equity
build
in the
over
property.
time.
All right. What's up, Quentin?
I see y'all. Hey, Darius.
What's up, Darius? Yes, good to see you, boy.
Absolutely.
Did you talk to Yasmin yesterday, Darius? Oh, was that today, Tuesday? Yeah, that was yesterday.
Mm-hmm. I think he did. All right. So when it comes to building that portfolio, you want to make sure you first buy it right. Buying it right is important so that you can.
You just skipped like.
I skipped nothing.
You did.
Look, I skipped nothing.
You did. You skipped the title of it. You didn't read the title on top of it.
I did.
No,
That's
you
the
didn't.
best ways to build. Listen, I told you a lot. I told you a lot.
Yeah, my wife's so funny.
I told you I would let you lead and I will follow.
Y'all see how good
I didn't
that
feel comfortable with that.
Y'all see how good that's going.
All right, I'll follow.
So today we are mainly talking about the BRRRR strategy. All right. When we say BRRRR, we're saying BRRRR. And what that stands for is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat.
Good job.
All right. So BRRRR is a part of our 8-slipper method that we use. That is a staple of our process and what we do. So like today, Mr. Jimmy, he my barber, I was getting my hair cut. He was like, hey man, what interest rates down to? Like 5%? And I said, I don't even know. Like, I don't even look at interest rates based on my strategy. It don't really affect me on what I'm doing. Like between 5 and 6%, like I understand how to make it work. So understand that if interest rates is a challenge, this method can always work. All right. So we're going to break down exactly what is a BRRRR, but also we're going to tell you the different ways to BRRRR. Like there are 2 main ways that we have used BRRRR and our people have used BRRRR. So make sure you stay and see which way is best for you. All right.
So for the record, you guys, Antonia and I are 2 different people. Our brains process 2 totally different ways. And I was just not gonna leave with that intro. That my intro was totally different. But I like
You
your
didn't
intro.
even have an intro.
I like your intro.
You didn't even have an
I
intro.
like your intro. Now, can I have my mouth back? All right. So the first method when it comes to BRRRR is buying it. You want to make sure that you're buying it right. You want to make sure that you aren't getting emotional in the buy and that you are doing it based on the numbers. All right. So not because it feels like it's going to be a good area. No, I want you to do it based on the numbers to make sure that you're getting into a good investment. All right.
With a mouse in it. There you
See.
go. Go to the next slide. Because like I did that slide. So why you not put the slide up?
Oh, I hadn't yet. Why are you talking to me and them at the same time?
I mean, only you can hear me.
No, they can hear you. Let's go. All right. So when we're buying it, we want to buy it at 65 to 70% of the after repair value. What the after repair value is what the house is going to be. What is it going to look like? What is it going to appraise for once it's fixed up and ready to go? What are other houses selling for that are in great condition in the area? All right.
I'm laughing because I just thought about something. So I'm in a group and someone made a post and they was like, hey, if you're still using the 70% rule to buy properties, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And I was trying to understand what he meant by it, which I wasn't the only one. But the thing about the 70% rule is that's what lenders are using. Like lenders are using 75, 70% for leverage on profits. So if you are using real estate funding, if you're using banks for your funding, then I don't understand how you not buy on a percentage. So I know it's different myths, it's different ways for different people, but just know how the old folks say about me and my household,
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna follow this 65 to 70% rule because that's what's been getting results for us and our people.
Yeah, I believe it's the absolute best way when it comes to building it because what you want to make your deal attractive to the lender. Otherwise, you don't need the lender. So you want to use what the lenders are using. If the lenders are using the percentage, you want to make sure you're using exactly what they're using because that's what's going to help you get out of underwriting fast. That's what's going to help you get an approval. That's what's going to help you keep building up your portfolio. Now, if you got a private lender, then you can buy it 80, 90% if that's what you want. But if you're using real estate funding, if you're doing deals with hard money companies, then you need to say and use the tools that they use because otherwise you're setting yourself up for failure.
And what's the formula for the people who are new to us? The formula is ARV, which is after repair value, times 70% minus rehab equals your all-in number. All right. So just to put some simple
You
numbers,
said that a little backwards. Try it one more time.
I said it how I do
Say it one more time. Say it one more time. I know what you meant.
it. ARV
Mm-hmm.
times 70%
Mm-hmm.
minus rehab.
Mm-hmm. Equals not your all in. That equals your
The mail.
yeah.
So make it simple. ARV times 70% is your all-in number.
Mhm.
That all-in number consists of your rehab and your purchase. So the ARV is 100,000. You're gonna times that by 70%. The most you can buy and rehab that house for is $70,000. Simple, easy, keep it moving.
And I say this all the time, and I'm gonna say it again. Not 75,000, not 71,000, 70,000.
We're doing exactly what we said we we're gonna do right
See, there you go again.
here.
All right. Rehabbing, you want to make sure you stay within your scope of work and your budget. Try not to go over your budget. Always leave some contingency in your budget, in your rehab budget, before you even submit it so that if anything happens, because something's going to happen, promise you something's going to happen, then you have a contingency budget to pull from it. You're not pulling from your personal funds, you're not pulling from your credit cards, you're not borrowing or asking others. So it's important when you rehab to stay within your scope of work.
The one thing I say is with all of this in the BRRRR process, we have a training for every one of these sections.
Yes.
So if one of these sections puzzle you a little bit more, just let us know and I can send you a replay. Like we've done training where we went in depth with analyzing deals, where we went in depth with rehabbing and contracting. We went in depth with refinancing the property. We went in depth with how we lease option properties. So if any one of them steps in the BRRRR process is holding you up, just send me a message or put it in the chat and I can send you a replay of the thing that can help you get more understanding.
Absolutely. It's important when you're building out your portfolio that you understand that you got to make a decision. If you're going to do a flip, then you're going to make it a flip. If you're going to do a rental, then you're going to make it a rental. But by no means should your rental look and have the price tag of a flip. All right. Because you want to get in as low as possible, but you want to still make it feel good make it feel like it's retail, but not spend the money like it's retail. All right.
Next.
You want to add anything to that?
We ain't doing no ad. All right, so
You like an old person.
No, I'm just to the point. To the plan. Key thing is there's something called a debt service coverage ratio. It's your DSCR. This is what lenders in the real estate world is going to use to see if your property is cash flow. Ideally, you want to have a DSR of 1.2 or better. Because of interest rates, some lenders have went to 1.1, but you can't have a 1.0 or a negative DSCR. And how you get your DSCR is you want to take your rent divided by your expenses, which includes your mortgage, taxes, insurance,
HOA, if you have it, all of that.
So 1,200 divided by 1,000 gives us a 1.2 DSCR. That's how you can compare different properties, whether they're in different price points. So 1.2 is ideal. 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 is much better.
It's a lot better. Yeah.
And the key to remember about the DSCR is the higher the value in the house, the lower the DSCR.
Even if you're getting cash flow.
The lower the value in the house, typically, the higher the DSCR.
All right. So when we're refinancing, there are different ways that you can refinance, but these are the two ways that are the absolute best way for refinancing to build that portfolio. A cash out refinance, which is where you are taking the equity out and you're using it to either reinvest, do more deals, or the rate and term where you're leaving money into the deal and you're just refinancing completely out of the deal, starting a new loan, paying off your old mortgage if you did a fix and flip loan, paying off that old mortgage and just getting into the new loan without getting any cash back.
And both of these are important because between the two methods that we teach on Burn, each one of them is going to use a different method.
Yeah, each has its pros and cons. With rate and term, you can refinance at a greater value than you can with the cash out. So depending on if you stayed on track, stayed on budget, really determines, and if the value of the area has increased or decreased, determines if you can do a cash out or a rate of return. But both can be done and can allow you to build your portfolio quickly.
And the last R is repeat. Repeat the process. All right. So understand that in an ideal world, I'm gonna give you a quick scenario before we go to exactly how we do it. In an ideal world, if when you go to refinance, and let's say you're doing a cash out refinance, if you invested $20,000 of cash into the deal, when you refinance, you want to get that $20,000 back. Mm-hmm. And the vision of it is if you can get your initial investment back and have a cash flowing asset, you can build your portfolio quickly. All right, we'll go into the details. Come on.
Y'all ready to build your portfolio?
Let's go. Who want a portfolio? Who want to get 4 properties in the next year?
In a year. Y'all know we in the final stretch of 2024. How many
4 properties in the next year? If you put this method into play, you can get a minimum of 4 properties in the next year.
Absolutely. I see you, Johnson. Oh, I see y'all. Okay. Okay. I see you, IG. Yes, sir. Is that Brandon? Is that what it says? All right. See y'all.
Yes, it says Brandon. All right. So lead method. If you hear us ever talk about our first mentee, Devontae Lee, this is his way of building his portfolio. Yeah. This is how he builds 7 figures in assets through this method right here. All right. You want to explain?
All right. So what Lee did was Lee ended up using his HELOCs, his home equity lines of credit, and he used that to be able to buy houses. And he was buying properties at 70% of the ARV and not financing them through a hard money lender, through a real estate lender. He was literally doing it with his HELOC. How many of you guys have some HELOCs that you're sitting on?
How many you got some equity in your house?
You got some equity in your house.
I need to touch Miss Cherie.
Okay. You got some equity in your house. Yeah. I see me, myself, and I.
Yeah. Okay. So understand that he was using a HELOC. So he was basically going down to the courthouse steps and he was buying properties at a discounted price. And the property that he was buying was property that didn't need much work, $5,000-$10,000 that he can quickly put a tenant in, and then he'll turn around and refinance the property. All right, and get all of his money back to put back in his HELOC.
Yes. So at that point, he is rinsing and recycling that HELOC over and over without using his savings, without using any of his own funds, but just taking that HELOC and recycling it to build that portfolio.
The other thing I want to say is he is using a lender to refinance.
Yes.
So
he's not to purchase.
He's going into a 30-year rental loan that has a fixed rate. All right. So if you want to kind of put scenario and some numbers with it, he goes to the courthouse steps, he buys a property for $70,000. Say buy it for $60,000 and need $10,000 of work. He has a HELOC of $100,000. He's going to take $60,000 from the HELOC, buy the property. He's going to take $10,000 from the HELOC, fix the property. Then he's going to turn around, put a Section 8 tenant. He likes Section 8. He'll put a Section 8 tenant in the property. So now he got $70,000 into the property. After 3 months, he would go to a hard money lender. Yes, we're using hard money lenders for these. He would go to a hard money lender and he would refinance. He would do a cash out refinance at 75%. So therefore, he would get his $70,000 back, put it into his HELOC.
Put it back in the HELOC.
He would have that $5,000 cushion for closing costs, and now he has a income producing asset
without any of his money into it.
All right. So that's an easy way to build your portfolio.
Yeah.
Easy way. All right.
How many times can you rinse and repeat using that cycle? If it takes you 3 months from start to finish, how many times a year can you do that? Somebody drop it in the chat. How many times a year can you do it?
If you got access and you want to get into real estate, this is probably one of the easiest ways to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Is by buying properties, and you might pay a little more sometimes for a property, but making sure that you can still refinance and get your money back and move on to the next one.
Yeah. Absolutely. You can do it 3 or 4 times a year. So you went 1 year from having 0 rentals, 0 cash flowing properties to 4 by the end of the year. And guess what? You can do it again and again.
And you can just keep going.
And keep going.
Just keep going.
And before you know it, that 0 turns into 8, turns into 12, and you got a multi-million-dollar portfolio on your hands.
Just like that.
Immediately, yeah.
All right. Next slide.
I see y'all.
I see you, Jimmy. I see you, Rita.
All right. So the types of properties that are good for this strategy is properties with little to no rehab, properties that have tenants in them, properties that are vacant, and properties that are high DSCR properties, meaning you are going to cash flow a lot on these properties versus how much you pay.
Yep. So I think the key one is properties that have tenants in it. Because if you can buy a property that has a tenant in it and refinance and get that cash back, it ain't no work involved in that.
Yeah.
It's already a tenant. So
you just have to wait the seasoning period for the refinance.
Yep.
So that's why when I say you can do it every 3 months, that's because the lender is going to require you to own it for at least 3 months when you're refinancing
it. And just to be very clear on that 3 months, if you go traditional financing, it might be a year before you can refinance on that property. And I'm not saying you can't refinance before 90 days. I'm not saying with a hard money lender. I'm not saying you can't refinance before a year with the traditional lender. It's just the value or the leverage they will allow you to get. Mm-hmm. At 3 months is where you can get full leverage on the property. So understand, keep that in mind. Like some lenders will let you cash out refinance in 30 days, but they might only give you 50% of ARV back. So that's why you got to kind of wait that 90 days. That's where you can get the full value of that property.
Because you want to be able to rinse and recycle. And guess what? You may be able to do a cash out where you get a little money too. So now you're getting that money from your HELOC. If you cash out and you get more because there's more equity, and maybe you cash out and got $5,000 more than what you put in from your initial investment. That's $5,000 going into your account, into your savings.
And Lee was so good at finding properties, y'all. He was finding properties at 50, 60% of ARV. So when he was going to refinance, he was not only getting his initial investment back, but he was getting 10, 15, $20,000 back on the refinance.
Now y'all tell me that's not the best way.
So he didn't necessarily have to flip properties to make chunks. He was just finding the right ones, refinancing on them, and getting paydays on the refinance.
Y'all make sure y'all drop y'all questions in the chat if you guys have any questions while we going over. I know we're talking about it. I want to make sure that we're doing it at that you understand it.
Yes.
So if you don't understand it, if you need us to go back, explain something in greater detail,
please tell us.
Yeah.
We'll get excited sometimes and go to talking.
Tommy will be like, next slide, and I'm still trying to tell y'all more because he said I got too much details in my head. Go. All right.
So we kind of talked about the first two.
Refinancing in 3 months.
So the last point we haven't talked about.
Go ahead.
So if you're buying properties with an ARV, don't forget ARV means after repair value of under $100,000, you might have to buy 2 or 3 of them before you can refinance and put them together, because in the hard money real estate funding world, non-traditional world, most of them don't like to do long-term 30-year loans when the loan amount is less than $100,000. So you might have to put 2 or 3 of them together so that you can get the loan amount over $100,000. Now you can refinance on all 3 of them.
Yeah, and that's called a portfolio loan. And you would just put them together and then buy them around the same time, put them together, and rinse and recycle all over again.
Yep.
Y'all got it? Let me know if y'all got it. Type I got it in the chat if you got it. Okay. All right. We're going to talk about the Denmark's way. All right. I don't even think we said this, but we helped Lee develop his way because that was where he was starting from. And it's important to understand where you're starting from to get you in the door, to get you to the next level.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And the other thing about Lee is he leaned on us during his process, and we were so creative that he was doing some wholesale deals, and the properties that he got the HELOCs on were properties that he never really paid for. He just got them in a part of a portfolio deal or a bundle. So if somebody was selling 5 properties, he would sell 4 and keep 1. So that's how he was kind of cherry picking some of those properties, and that's how that developed for him. All right. So the Denmark's way.
All right. So with the Denmark's way, we're gonna buy using hard money. We're gonna do a fix and flip loan, which is called a purchase and rehab loan. We're gonna make sure that we're buying the property at 65% of the ARV. Our down payment, we're gonna put down between $15,000 to $20,000 on the purchase, depending on what type of house it is.
All right. We're going to buy distressed properties in areas that have good comps. We like the ARV to be between 120 and 180.
Yeah.
Like that's our sweet spot for what we do. That makes the rental numbers work. That makes the financing numbers work.
Yes. That makes the hard money lenders say yes to refinance it because it's gonna be that loan is gonna be at least $100,000 at the minimum.
Yes, and one of the ways that we go from 70 to 65 is because a lot of times we're not doing some big ticket items that most flippers would have to do. So a lot of times, if we buy a house and the roof got 5 years left on it, we can buy that house and not put the roof on, but we can fix it, make sure it's not leaking, and then we can hold it for longer. All right. But we are buying properties that are distressed that probably need $25,000, $30,000 or more
in rehab.
Because when we get our hard money loan, we're getting purchase and rehab. All right.
All right. Make sure you drop your questions. We buy those type of houses one by one, so that way we're keeping that refinance flow going. All right. So refinance still, whether we buy it the leeway or the Denmark's way, it's still going to be 3 months if you're using hard money, all right, to get the max value. So we're buying one at a time, fix it up, renovate it, refinance it, and repeat the process.
Yep. And I don't know, put this next slide. All right, go back. So the key to the Denmark way is when we refinance, let's say we put down that 15 to 20,000 to get the deal and our fees. When we do our refinance, we're going to refinance and get that money back. So it's going to be the same principle, the same concept, just a little different way of doing it.
And just a higher value house. So to where you're buying in the leeway the $50,000 to $60,000 houses, you're only putting in $10,000. Now you're buying maybe a $70,000 house, putting in 20 and refinancing, or $100,000 house, putting in 25. So just a little better area is usually where that is. Better quality tenants, and when you're renovating the house, it allows you to have less repairs when your tenant is in there because you've renovated so much of it.
Yes. And one of the things that we like to do is we always say you don't got real estate with your money. So 99% of the time, we are going to borrow the 15 to 20,000 to do the deal. So we like to do rate and term refinancing when we go to refinance, because we're going to take that $15,000 to $20,000 loan, put it on as a second mortgage. Now, when we go refinance, we can get 80% leverage, and we can pay off the hard money loan and our $15,000 to $20,000 gap funding. All right. So we like to do rate and terms. We get higher leverage. We're usually getting lower interest rates also, and we're doing all of this without our money.
Yep, you refinance your into a deal without using any of your own money. How many times can you do this way?
Yes. So, and keep in mind with the hard money world, you don't have to. There's not a limit on how many deals you can do.
As long as you can support it.
As long as you can financially support it, and if you're using gap funds to support it, how many can you do? Like you can build your portfolio 5, 6, 7, 8 in a year once you understand what you're doing, and once you build up enough trust in other people that'll be gap lenders for you. All right. So that is kind of the two ways that you can build your portfolio quick. Right now, these are things that we are doing every day. Like literally, we got a property in Centerpoint that we're looking at. ARV on the property is 190. They're asking 90,000. It needs about 25, 30,000 in work. We're gonna get in there, turn it over, put us a tenant in it. We like tenant buyers. We ain't gonna talk about that part, but we're gonna put us if we wanted to, put us a renter in there, refinance it. Now we got a cash flowing property with $40,000, $50,000 in equity that's only going to go up over time.
Absolutely.
And I say for us, it's not about the cash flow. Like that's icing on the cake.
Yeah.
For us, it's all about getting the asset. It's all about getting as many assets as possible under our belt. The cash flow gonna come. Rent gonna increase over time.
Yeah.
Property value gonna increase over time.
Yeah.
Don't look at everything I do. I gotta make a whole lot of money. Plant enough seeds, and that one day them seeds are gonna blossom into something that you can really do something with. So we're gonna make sure we follow the DSC rule.
DSCR, yeah.
DSCR rule, and we're gonna get as many properties as possible. Because even if I create enough properties and I hold them for 5 to 10 years, I mean, what would life look like then? Even if I hold them for 10 years and say, hey, I'm going to give these to my kids, what kind of head start is that for them?
Absolutely.
So, I'm around a different set of people. One way of thinking is some people buy properties like this for a kid and say, hey, this is your your college fund. Yeah. This is what you're going to use. They buy early so that when it's time to go to college, when it's time to start a business,
it's already paid off.
Here they go to deed to this house. You got $100,000 in equity. Now let's take this 100,000 and go to college. Let's take this 100,000 and start a business. Let's do this is for you to get a head start. All right. So it's not all about us, the individual. It's all about planting seeds so that other things can grow around it.
Absolutely. Just know what your why is, know where you are, and strategize the best way to get you to where you need to be.
All right.
These are my two absolute best ways when it comes to building a rental portfolio in a year. Like to go from 0 to 4 in a year, doing either way, I think is insane. And what happens if you have more money? Then you can go 0 to 8, you can go 0 to 12, but you just use those same principles and build on them. It's simple.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
So one thing I tell you is once you start doing this, people are going to notice, and you're going to have people lending you money to do this because they're going to be getting a return too. So once you start going, you're going to see a change in how people respond to you. You're going to hear a conversation start to change.
You're going to start changing. You're going to start growing and developing as well. Yeah. All right. I see you, Jackie. I can't tell you right now, but I see you.
Yes. It depends on the ARV. So if you're saying, hey, the ARV is so
process that quick.
because I don't already analyze the deal before. So Miss Jackie wrote us a property. She's got a property over in Fairfield. To where ARV is probably 130, 140. The seller wants anywhere between 55 to 70 up in that range. Probably needs about $15,000 to $20,000 of work. Like this is a great way. This is a great strategy, Jackie. If you can find a gap lender that'll say, hey, I'll give you the $20,000 it takes to buy it and fix it, and then you refinance on it, give them 10, 15, 20% on their money. Now you got a cash flowing property in your possession. So it's ideally the same thing. Now, I would want to buy it for as low as possible. I would want to put the right amount of rehab in it to make sure I refinance good. It just can't be a straight rehab rental. It has to have some nice elements to it. So we just can't put carpet throughout the whole house. We just can't we just can't put Formica countertops a lot of times. You're
gonna need to maybe use granite or butcher block.
Yeah,
you're gonna make it stand out and pop so that when you refinance, it's looking at values from other flips in the area.
Yeah, and not looking at rental property rehab. So it's got to be a little better than a rental property, at least for the eye in the field. But that's a good property to consider that on.
Absolutely. All right. Any other questions? You got any over there?
Let me think. Anything that I missed? No. Don't forget, if any one of these parts of the BRRRR strategy you quite didn't understand, because I know for me, I didn't understand refinance for a long time. Just put that in the chat and say, hey, buy, rent. Yeah, so like, and we can send you some more information on those. I don't really want to dive too deep into it, just because we mainly want to focus on the principle of what the BRRRR strategy is and the different ways to do it. So if you got a HELOC, if you got a 401k, I mean, the 401k is great for this. Like, it is absolutely amazing. You take that 401k, you buy them properties. Well, you're going to get a self-directed IRA first.
Absolutely. That's
and then
important.
Once you get that self-directed IRA, you can buy these properties that got tenants in them, refinance on them.
And keep repeating the process.
Keep repeating it. So where that IRA is stagnant or even losing money, you can be building it up just like that.
Time. That's right. All right. Well, we will see you guys tonight at REI Live. For those of you who are in the Birmingham area.
Don't forget, we got a dynamic funding tour coming up. Check it out. We're going to be in Atlanta, Birmingham, and Montgomery.
Absolutely. Atlanta Day is September 26th. Birmingham is October 30th. And Montgomery is December 5th. Can't wait to see you guys there. Yeah.
That's it. All right.
All right. Love you guys.
Peace. REI Live tonight.